Ratchet and Clank going Commando walkthrough. So in the last video, even though I died against that UFO boss, I actually did kill it. So it is dead, it just isn't shown because that video got corrupted. But either way, we're going to be doing the actual difficult part of this level, and I still think this is by far the hardest level in this game. Now there is another shorter part later on that's going to be a little bit challenging, but it's not quite as annoying as this. And the issue with this are a couple of things. Number one, these enemies that chase after you are pretty strong and they can do a lot of damage with their shots. The next thing is that you have to kill all of these little twonky things, and they like to spawn out of this to begin with, and then they'll sit there and start spawning other guys. And it can be really hard to take all of them out because they're just going to keep spawning each other, and it's probably best to use the Lancer against them, not so much this HK gun that I've been using, but the Lancer's probably good just because you can usually use one bullet to kill one, and then the rest just sort of follow. You're going to be using a lot of ammo, so be sure to come back here often, and I will be doing this often, as you'll see, until it gets to the point where it's going to block you off from going backwards. And then these guys, of course, suddenly just came back. I have no idea where the one guy that I missed was. And I think when they spawn one, that one can spawn a bunch, and then that one can spawn a bunch, and it's just kind of an endless spawning. So once we're finally done with that first area, we can jump up here and we'll have to deal with a few more of these robots. And these robots aren't too bad. Again, the HK gun and these little mini turrets that I'm using these little mini robots that I have following me are pretty good, and that gets rid of them pretty easily. And normally I would probably say go back and get ammo, and it looks like I do here, but you probably don't have to right there. You could probably do the next area and then swing back and get ammo that way. And this is the only way I found I could get past this part, because this part of the level of this world isn't really that long. It's just there's so many enemies they start throwing at you, and even with the second best armor and almost a full row of nanotech, you can still die pretty quickly if you're not paying attention. And it's mainly just the upcoming parts where you have to kill every single enemy to continue. And that's a problem when you have a bunch of those little ones spawning. So as we see down here, there's 4 spawners that are spitting out these enemies, and they're going to be spawning their own enemies on top of it. So the first thing you need to do immediately is destroy these spawners, and you can do that with any way you see fit. But of course, you're going to have to deal with the robots that kind of just come out of nowhere. And once you get rid of those robots, then you can go and actually destroy the spawners. And try not to focus on the little fuzzballs until you get rid of these dispensers, and then you can start focusing on them. And this is the part that's really going to kind of make or break the rest of the level, just because if you get past this part just fine, then you're good, but if you take a while to get past it, it can be really annoying. And again, using stuff that does a lot of damage does a lot of quick damage is probably the best thing to use here. So something like a turret, or again the Lancer. And if you can try to get your back to where there are none of these fuzzballs, that'll make killing them a little bit easier. And I decided just to end up using the Bouncer at this point. And like, you think you kill them all, but nope, you don't. They're all back, and this is just a big mess, and this was almost unnecessarily stupid with how long this takes to defeat all these guys. And you think you get one, then you start spawning 5 more. Anyway, finally they're all dead, and before you walk in there, you are going to want to go back and refill on ammo. I believe this will be the last time you'll be able to do this, and that will make getting through the rest of it a lot easier if you're not empty. So be sure to get all your ammo, and if you can, even, upgrade armor if you haven't already. But anyway, rush on back, go through the door, and I believe once you step on in here, you're gonna be closed in, the door will shut down behind you, and we're gonna have to deal with even more of these little fuzzballs. And then some of these robots should be dropping in, and it looks like I got most of the fuzzballs right away. That was pretty lucky there. But these robots are going to start dropping in, and the HK gun's still one of my favorites for dealing with them, and they go down pretty quick. Now I don't think their legs can hurt you, maybe they can, but anyway, once again you have to defeat every You have to defeat every enemy inside of this room to open it up, and then you're going to have this robot which is actually shooting grenades at you. I mean, that's a little bit interesting. So again, the HK gun is good to try to take care of some of them before you actually rush on over there. But of course, the HK gun might waste a few of its shots on one of the smaller guys. Then I decided to throw a bouncer over to see if there was anything they could blow up. The bouncer's pretty darn good. I actually really like it, but it doesn't look like there really was anything. So then I switched on over to my blade, and I wanted to get rid of that guy before I jumped over there, just because I didn't want him to shoot me. So yeah, that's why that was. And then I thought, okay, I'm gonna go buy ammo. Excuse me, I don't know what's wrong with my throat today. Anyway, I'm gonna go buy ammo, but turns out you can't. They close the doors behind you. So at this point, you're pretty much on your own, and hopefully you don't get to where you have to use the sheepinator or the ratchet only. But I will actually be using the sheepinator. Oh no, I use that at a different level. But anyway, the sheepinator's probably not a bad option here because it's got unlimited ammo, and this would be a pretty good place to actually level it up pretty quick. So that is something you can do, but again, they spawn so quickly, I don't think the sheepinator can keep up with killing them. So again, you have to kill most of those little fuzzballs to open up the next door, and once you open up this next doorway, there's going to be, or once you walk into the doorway, there's going to be a checkpoint there, thank goodness, and that'll be it for this video.